Okay, we've got the Zenith set here. This is the Zenith. Well, I'm looking for the model number. I don't have a model number. Oh, here we go. Model something 519. I don't see the model number very clearly there, but I pulled the small knobs off. We'll pull the big knobs off, and to clean those. This one cleaned up nice, and I'll have to make one on from some epoxy, and we'll go through that process of how to make a knob using epoxy and a mold and all of that. This one's missing a chrome or gold tone decal, but no big deal. So we'll set those there. Let's the cord is in beautiful condition, but let's get it. I did just plug it in, and it's completely dead, and I left it plugged in for a little while, and the switches are, don't know if the switches are bad or what, but it's completely dead. So we'll pull it apart and pull it out of the case, and then do some voltage checks, etc. Okay. Don't know what we're going to find here, if we can even get this out. The clock and speaker are holding us in place here. So let's see, do these pins pull? That's a speaker. I think they're soldered, but let's see. Yeah, speakers are soldered. Okay, so let's see. Piece of cardboard. I don't know if that's asbestos or not. Have to be careful with that. Let's see if we can pull the speaker out. I don't know. There may have been a tuning. Let me see. What did I just pull loose? Well, I don't know. We'll see. We pulled that loose. Yeah, I pulled something loose there. Tuning. So, see if we can get this speaker out of here. And we'll take the clock out. Clock wasn't moving. The second hand wasn't moving. Okay, so there's the speaker. And let's pull the clock out. Wait, what are we going to see on the clock? All right, we'll see. We'll see. May just come out. Three screws. Okay. Okay. Now everything should just slide out. If it's There we go. It's all there. Get it on camera. Okay. So there's an appliance plug right there. Can't see it, but there's an appliance plug right there to plug your coffee pot into. So let's move the case. Let's take a peek at the case. And the dial, I dropped the dial down in the hole there. Yeah, it just popped off. So I hope it didn't damage it. So let's set this up where we can get to a few things. I guess we can just set that speaker there. Set the clock there. There's the power switch for the radio. So we'll hook up our power. It's not plugged in yet. Okay. And it's plugged in. I don't have any amperage. I can show you the meter. If I can get to it. There's the meter. Oh my. Yeah, 0 amps. Turned on. I'm assuming. No, there's turned on. Okay, it acts like there's no power, and it could be this switch is blown. So let's disconnect the power. Let's hook up the meter and see if that switch is closed. Okay, there we go. Okay, so the switch is closed. So we got, so the switch is closed. That means we got power, and we can check the plug just to confirm. Well, we got to plug the right thing in here. I didn't have the right plug plugged in. Right, so let's plug it in. Okay, the alarm is buzzing. Okay. Okay, the alarm is buzzing. Okay, so we've got the radio off and radio alarm setting, and the alarm set. So this is radio. There we go. The alarm is off. And the radio is turned on, but there's no current. Okay. Okay, let's do a little tracing here. Power comes in here, comes common leg here, and then the other leg is isolated and it goes to the power switch, through the power switch to this brown wire. This brown wire comes up and goes to the coffee pot connector. Then there's a small brown wire right there that comes back to the circuit board and goes and connects right here. And this small brown wire is what powers the board, and that actually is loose. I don't know if it's loose enough to prevent it from powering, but what we'll do is we'll get this set right here. The volume switch is here, volume control. Get everything kind of set here where it won't short, and then we'll plug it in. Okay, we'll turn it off momentarily. Hook up the power. Nothing shorting. Okay, turning it on. I got a flicker. I don't know what that means, but let's see if we've got 117 volts here. And we do 127 volts. And if we go from that side to this one, 127 volts. So there's power to the board. And that rectifier right there is what... No, there's not a rectifier there. The rectifier tube. Let's see if we've got power here. 24 volts. 127 and 25. Okay, so this connection's loose. See, we got 25 volts there. Right next to it, we got 127. So we got a bad connection there for sure. So let's kill the power. And let's take some solder. How are we doing on time? Okay. Take some solder and got the big tip, big hot tip here. Okay. We should have power to the board now. Let's see. Plug it in. Turn it on. $126 volts. Okay. Okay, we found a bad tube. The 35W4 rectifier tube is bad, so let's put the good tube in there and see if we can get tubes to fire up now. And okay, we actually do have a slight there, the tubes are lighting up. Yeah, now the tubes are lighting up, and we got a hum. Probably got a bad cap, but let's see. Okay, so we'll turn the power off here, and this cap is bad. Got a bug in here. Okay, so our cap is, our main filter cap is shot. So let's unhook it. And we're looking at okay, so we've got 80 at 50, 80 at 150, and 40 at 150. So 80 at 150 and 40 at 150, and we've got 3 ground tabs. So there's a ground tab there and a ground tab there, so we'll have to connect these 2 grounds together because the case is shorting those 2 together. Yeah, these 2 tabs right here and here will have to be shorted, and then we'll put a let's see, that's the square. So you see in there on the cap, you may already know this, but in there is a square above that terminal, and above this terminal is a diamond or a triangle, and the triangle is marked right here and here, a square and a triangle. So that's how you know which one to hook. So in this case, the square is on the top, and the square is 80, and a triangle on the bottom to ground is 40. So let's get an 80 and a 40. Okay, these are way over voltage, but 82 and a 33, and they're 450 volt caps, but they'll definitely do the job. So we will put them in. See, there's nothing in here, nothing at all in here. So it's just the nature of living in a Faraday cage, and we're still coming off of the solar corona mass ejection that's wiped out the AM band for several days. So that's probably another part of the reason why we're not getting anything in here at all. Normally I can get a little nearby station down the road from here, but we're not even getting that today. So, but we can tell that we've got audio working now. Now we got to figure out why this clock second hand is not running. Could be that the windings on the motor are burned up. I don't know. We'll check and see if we have power on the clock. There's power terminals right there. So let's check it. See if we've got power on the clock. And turn it on. Plug it in. Okay, so we got 117 volts there. So if the winding is any good, sometimes you can tell with a see if we got magnetic. No, there's no magnetic. Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, we got a magnet. Okay, so it could be that this just needs grease. I've got to be real careful right here because that's 110 volts. But it could be that we just don't have, that we've got things bound up on the motor. See if I can get it to turn. If I can get the motor to turn. Get some light on the subject. Yeah, so it's this gear. There it goes. There it goes. See the second hand moving now? So it might mean that it just needs a little bit of oil. What we'll do is spray some contact cleaner in there. And we'll just let it run. And we'll see if, because the clock is still running, as you can see, second hand is moving. So let's set the time. It's now 5 after 7. Okay, so we'll set it to 5 after 7. And we'll just let it sit here for an hour or so and we'll see what it does. I'm moving the alarm. I've got the alarm turned on. There's the alarm. Okay, so the alarm works. And all that is it's taken the hum of the magnet and it's vibrating a little piece of metal against the frame. The pulse, the 60 hertz hum is making an alarm. That's how those alarms worked. They used the 60 hertz hum and vibrated a piece of metal against the frame to make it buzz. So I think we've got it running now. We can get it cleaned up and we will make a new knob. Get that. I've got one here that's cleaned up and pretty. Oh yeah, it's right here on the clock. we'll make a cast of that and make us a new knob. Probably about that amber color. We'll get the dial hooked up, and we'll do the same with the clock. Pull this out and clean this up for the clock. Okay, we're going to use window cleaner on the case to start with, and see if we can get some of the dirt off, and then we'll use some kind of a polish. The window cleaner is pretty innocuous. It just takes the film of the dirt off and of this plastic. You can see how filthy it is, and so we'll let it. That's just incredible, isn't it? I don't know how much dirt there is on this. We're going to see in just a second. Look at that. It's still taking it off. So we got a lot of polishing to do to get this back to the original. But if I can just get the dirt off of it, I'm not too worried about making it perfect. Still pulling a lot of dirt off. Okay, we've got the Novus plastic cleaner here. Let's just see how it does. This is like car wax. I could use a turtle wax on this, and it would probably clean it up really nice. You can see how much crud it's taken off that's just been baked on there. Yeah, it'd probably be a lot cheaper just to use a car wax. This Novus is more expensive than car wax. But there are 3 grades, number 1, 2, and 3. 3 is super abrasive, and then number 2 is medium abrasive, and then number 1 is just a polish. So we are still taking junk off. Look. Incredible, isn't it? So we got quite a bit of work to do to get this cleaned up. And I think I'm going to try some car wax. Well, as luck would have it, I don't have any handy. Let's take some of the number 3 heavy scratch remover, and let's try it, see if we can get it to clean up. Put it on like car wax and then let it dry a little bit. A bad spot right there. And there's a spotting on here. I don't know. Somebody had sprayed some kind of chemical and got it. Still getting the color off. That might be the color of the plastic that we're taking off. Okay. Okay, that didn't, well, yeah, I guess it helped a little bit, but I do have something else that'll work even better. So I'm going to take the tire shine off with the car window cleaner. Take that off, and I'm going to try something else, and we'll take that film off. It is looking a lot better, even just plain, but I do have something here. This is plastic trim restorer, and this stuff works beautiful. It is like tire shine, but it's a little bit, leaves a much bigger film. So we'll put that on. Okay. Pretty incredible. Look at that. Compared to the end, there's the end, there's the top. Pretty nice. And we got some scratches here we didn't get out, but that is just gorgeous. And we'll do the whole cabinet that way. All of this in here we'll do, and we'll clean it and then restore it, and that'll look like a brand new radio. Okay, the band is starting to come alive, and I installed the power supply cord right directly onto the unit, as you can see, and it helped with the antenna tuning, and I've realigned everything according to the instructions and got it aligned as close as I can get it with the different tubes in there. And so we've resolved the issues. So I'm going to let it run here. I'm going to turn the radio off, but I'm going to let the clock run. We're still, let's see, we're still running. Yeah, we're still running. And so we'll let it we'll let it run. And we'll turn the clock, or turn the radio off. And then I've got the, let me show you. I've got the knob set in a rubber cast right now, and we're waiting for the rubber to set up. I'm not sure how long. I think it takes about 10 hours. Yeah, so it'll take several hours to set up, but we'll get the silicone rubber mold made, and then we'll pour the epoxy, mix the epoxy up, and fill that up with kind of I think the amber color of the epoxy will probably be just about the right color, this color. So we'll see how it goes, but we're going to make a knob for the radio, and then we'll put it all back together. Okay, we're back at the unit, and the rubber is almost completely done. We're going to let it sit here and cook a little bit, but you can see that's hard, and I'm going to let it sit for a couple more hours just to be sure, so that when we pull that knob out of the plastic, we'll squeeze the knob out of the plastic and out of the rubber, and then we can use the epoxy. We'll mix the epoxy up and pour it in there. I don't have a vacuum that I can use to vacuum all the bubbles out, which is unfortunate, but I don't do enough of this work to even bother with it. So normally you would put a vacuum globe over this, or you would put this inside a vacuum chamber after you fill it with epoxy, and it'll pull the bubbles out of, air bubbles out of the mold and really do a good job. But we'll see what it looks like. We'll mix a couple of these and look at the final result, see if we can get the color just about right. Okay, we've got the little knob in the rubber, so we'll pull all this apart. This was just a little setup I used to, there's a little hole in there, air bleed hole, so I can pull this out. So we'll pull this apart. Okay, we'll let that set up. Everything cleaned up. I wanted you to see a couple of other molds that I've made for some antique radio TV knobs. There's one that was had a rough face on it, and you can see the face in there, and this turned out beautifully. I got the colors just right. To create a knob like this would take quite a bit of work to carve one, so it's going to be interesting. I'll have to drill a hole in this one, drill a hole in it, and about a quarter of an inch long, 3/8 of an inch, and then we'll see if the color is close. I mean, close enough. I think the shape is more important to me than the exact color, but it is pretty close. It'll be interesting to see how close we came. Okay, pull the new little knob out of the mold. Let's see, is it even close to the original? Not too bad, not too bad. The color, I mean. And we'll clean it up just a little bit. And we'll let it cure. It's still just a little bit soft, but we'll let it cure. But it turned out really nice. Okay, you've got the Vintage Tech Media Museum Curator here, and I wanted to let you know that we finished the Zenith radio. Let me switch to the other view. Here we've got it. Turned out beautiful, didn't it? Just as clean as a whistle. And I've got 3 knobs there. You can see the middle knob was one that I made, and it's identical to the others, except that it's just not as clear, but that's just because of the material that I used to make it. So anyway, I'm real pleased with the way that turned out. And I've got the Selecta antenna on the back here that is designed to help tune in our weak AM radio station. We've got a storm brewing. As you can see, it's getting kind of dark out there, and so we're going to hear some static charges here as the audio fires up. And we don't have any radio stations that I can tell. It's pretty rough. The band is in really bad shape. So we're going to try. Don't have anything. But with the antenna tuner, we've got at least got a weak channel. Alright, so obviously the band is in such bad condition that we're not going to do much here, but I did want you to see the antenna tuner here. Let me turn this off. Yeah, the antenna tuner, Select antenna, is a really nice addition to the antenna, the AM radio collection. So there's the Zenith, and I'm very proud of how it turned out. It was a lot of work all along the way. It's very challenging to get apart and reassemble, and then it was a challenge to make a new knob and all of that. So hopefully the band conditions will improve here in the southeast, and we'll be able to listen to some AM radio stations. Okay, we've got the Zenith running, and a lot of the background noise is gone because we've unhooked a bunch of things in the shop. And so we're going to see if we've got our radio station here. A real faint station. And I've got the antenna tuner here that's just inductive coupled antenna tuner, so let's see if we can get it, that station in stronger. Yeah, much better. So there's without, and there's with it. Does a beautiful job. Yeah, it definitely helps. Okay, we've got some of the noise turned off in the shack now. Let's see if we can get any stations. Got a storm brewing outside, you can hear it.
If you enjoy old-time singing and preaching from the King James Version, the Gospel Life Band I got told about a grave robber, pick me up from that ride, wash my soul in that hole, brought me back.
Static's pretty bad.